Falling in love with Willow during the first snowfall of 14. Hating Willow on the day the snow disappeared in 24. 10 years, love melted like snow. When she asked me to marry her, I finally let her go. Roles reversed, extreme switch. Those cliched plots happened too suddenly. But now, everything about you no longer concerns me at all. At 4 in the morning, my phone rang like a thunderbolt by my pillow. I woke up abruptly, followed by a throbbing pain in my forehead. Suffering from insomnia, I had to rely on sleeping pills every night. I wanted to smash the phone to pieces, answer it or not. If I answer, I won't be able to sleep tonight. If I don't, she will probably be very angry, because at this hour, no one else would call me except her, Willow, the girl I loved for 10 years. The ringing became clearer, and the pain grew more intense. I stared blankly at the ceiling, feeling the rhythmic throbbing at my temples. Thinking of the word 10 years, I stopped hesitating. One hand covered my forehead while the other answered the phone. "Can't you see my WeChat messages?" On the other end, Willow's tone was cold with a hint of anger, as if I had done something wrong. "Sorry, I was asleep." "Well, go back to sleep then." Then she hung up the phone decisively. The headache eased a bit. I sat up, lit a cigarette, and checked her messages. There were only 3, all very clear. "Come pick me up." Then she sent an address. "Where are you?" A few simple words, colder than the winter wind in Beijing. I got dressed, went downstairs, and sat in the car with a cigarette in my mouth. It felt like plunging into an ice cellar. Beijing's winter is not gentle. To me, it was like a beast that would tear holes in your clothes. I drove to the destination, a hot pot restaurant. It seemed I couldn't park on the roadside. After hesitating for a moment, I turned on the hazard lights and went into the restaurant. Amidst the noise, I saw Willow and frown the next second. In such cold weather, she wore a mini skirt and a tank top, with a thin jacket draped aside, sitting between 2 men, her arm around one of their necks. Her face was flushed from drinking, her eyes were misty, and she was mingling with them. People at the next table frequently glanced over. I walked up and pulled Willow. "Let's go." Unexpectedly, she shook me off and sat back down defiantly. "Don't touch me." The 3 men looked at me with disdain and provocation. I couldn't be bothered to respond. I just wanted to get Willow home and then sleep. "I know you're mad at me. Sorry. It's my fault for not seeing your message in time. Let's go. It's very late." I stepped forward to pull her again, and this time, one of the men moved. He slapped my hand away. "Hey, who the hell are you? Don't you dare touch her. Watch your mouth." I glared at the man, but he seemed to want to provoke me further. Turning to talk to Willow, "Is this the guy you mentioned?" Willow laughed, leaning forward and back. Yes, he's George. I told you, no matter when I call him, he will definitely come." "Oh. He Tilda is your little servant, but he's not very punctual." They all burst into laughter, and Willow clung to the man beside her, her expression ambiguous. "So, did I win the bet?" "Sure. What reward do you want?" Saying that, he put his hand on Willow's thigh, but she didn't react, leaning softly into the man's embrace. Seeing Willow like this, a trace of darkness flashed in my eyes, but I walked forward without hesitation, staring at the man's provocative eyes, and said word by word, "Take your hand off." The man sneered, squeezing harder, leaving red marks on Willow's fair thigh. "Who the hell are you? And who are you to her? You have no right." I glanced at Willow again. Her eyes were bright, smiling. I understood what she meant. She was enjoying it, enjoying the feeling of being defended, also expecting the men to fight for her like animals fighting over prey. She succeeded. In the next second, I grabbed the man's collar, and with all my strength, punched him, then slammed his head onto the table. His friends reacted, one kicking me, sending me crashing into a leftover hot pot on the next table. The boiling water scalded my back, but under the adrenaline, I felt no pain. Kicking that dirty hand guy again. Willow had long covered her mouth in surprise and stepped aside. The boss also came to stop the fight, but there was no way I would back down in a brawl. Just pick one and beat him up hard. It wasn't until the boss yelled about calling the police that I let go of the man's collar. He had already been beaten into a pig's head, his face swollen, I was not much better, although. My face wasn't hurt, my head was full of lumps, and my back was burning. But they wouldn't dare call the police, no one would benefit. I spat out a mouthful of blood and pulled Willow away. You bastard! You hit really hard, the man, though swollen like a pig, still sneered disgustingly. Behind me. Let me tell you, no matter what you do for her, she will never like you. Understand? Simp. The drive home was silent. Willow, draped in my jacket, stared out the window, lost in thought. I glanced at her, wanting to say something, but the words caught in my throat. The atmosphere was awkward. I licked my split lip and turned on the radio. Welcome to FM 19. Next up. We have a song recommendation for you. Turn it off. Willow didn't even look at me, apparently annoyed. But if that's the case, why did she ask me to pick her up? I won't, for once. I defied her wishes. Maybe it was the pent-up anger from the beating, or perhaps I felt mistreated. Willow didn't speak. Her tone suddenly softened. Oh. Maybe she realized how excessive she had been today. Don't take what they said today to heart. My friends like to joke around, but you shouldn't have been so impulsive. I chuckled bitterly, my face turning dark. But Willow still didn't look at me, as if she hadn't heard. Seeing her back, my thoughts drifted to a quiet afternoon 10 years ago. She also used to gaze at the window like this. Finally, I sighed. Got it. I didn't want to lose Willow, didn't want to lose the beautiful memories of her, even if they were from 10 years ago. Once people get used to something, they panic and fear when they lose it. They want to hold on tightly. I think that's how I am. I'm afraid of changing my current life, so today, no matter how excessive she was, I think I'll endure it. Even friends have conflicts. Do you like me? Willow suddenly turned to look at me, smiling slightly. It felt like a giant hand was squeezing my heart. I looked at the road ahead, opened my mouth, but couldn't say anything. The speaker played Joel and Si's Rewind, and we didn't speak again until I dropped her off at home. As she was getting out, I grabbed her. 10 years, don't you understand? She smiled sweetly at me. It didn't take 10 years. I knew from the first year. Then you. George, some things are better left unsaid. Are you afraid of losing me? I nodded dumbly. I'm also afraid of losing you, but if we stay friends, we'll never lose each other. She left, not even waving goodbye. She only left my jacket and a veiled rejection. I live in the same neighborhood as Willow, but her house was bought by her parents, while I can only rent. My home is both my residence and my studio. After graduating from college, I started my own business, but it hasn't taken off yet. The money I make each month is barely enough for living expenses. After parking the car, I noticed a parking ticket on the window. Willow, sitting in the passenger seat, must have seen it, but she didn't tell me. It seems she really doesn't care about me. Even as a friend, she would have joked about the ticket, or the ad stuck on the window. The sky was already bright when I got home, and my back stung with pain, making me grimace. I lit a cigarette and searched online for how to treat a burn. My phone suddenly pinged with a WeChat message. Anna, are you awake? I hope I didn't disturb you. Call me when you wake up. I called her right away. Anna, a senior who is a year older than me and my business partner. Currently, she and 2 other juniors are working with me in the studio. Senior, any instructions? Oh, you're actually awake. Let me guess. Did you go meet your secret crush last night? TSK. This woman is spot on. All right, enough teasing. It's about work. Monkey finished the concept design around 4. Senior, you could have called me then. She sounded a bit aggrieved on the other end. I didn't want to wake you. What if you got mad at me? Your sleep is so poor. It's not like I've ever gotten mad at you. Just come over. Got it, Boss 1 Tilda. When Anna arrived, she brought breakfast. You know me too well, Senior. This pancake is delicious. I wolfed down the food, not caring about my image at all. TSK, it's just not spicy enough. Next time, make it extra spicy. Thanks, extra spicy. Don't you know you have a stomach problem? Anna rolled her eyes at me. Stop calling me Senior, it sounds awful. Then what should I call you? That feels too disrespectful. Anna punched me. I'm just your senior, not a stranger, is calling me by my name so weird. The punch landed right on my wound, making me wince. What's wrong with you? Don't you dare pretend. Anna carefully examined my face. Did you get into a fight? I turned my face away from her. Nothing. Let's talk about work. I noticed Anna looking at me with a strange expression, a mix of worrying and frustration. What's wrong? Nothing. It's just that you seem to be keeping a distance from me, like you have a girlfriend or something. You're mistaken, senior. I'm single. Oh. Halfway through discussing work, the pain in my back intensified, like 1,000 needles piercing my skin. I gritted my teeth, sweat beading on my forehead. Anna glanced at me and threw the papers on the table, pouting at me. Why did you stop talking? I'm afraid you'll die. Just then, the doorbell rang. As I wondered who it could be, Anna already opened the door. It was the delivery guy. What did you order? Give me some. I cheekily leaned over. You're in so much pain, yet you still have the energy to joke. This is burn ointment. Burn ointment? You. I wondered how she knew. Anna seemed to guess my thoughts. When you bent over to look at the papers earlier, I saw a small burn mark on the back of your neck. Normally, that spot wouldn't get burned. What happened? And you didn't even notice. Now you're sweating all over. I guess such a small burn wouldn't cause you so much pain. She opened the ointment. So, take off your shirt. What? Take it off. The cool touch on my back finally brought some relief. Thank you, senior. I weakly expressed my gratitude. Anna didn't say anything, just focused on applying the ointment. The next second, my phone rang. It was Willow. I was stunned for a moment, then answered. Where are you? At home. Willow's tone was still emotionless. I can't sleep. Let's go eat. There's a great sukiyaki place. Eat. How about later? I'm in a meeting. What do you mean? There was a hint of anger in her voice. Are you throwing a tantrum at me? I'm not. I tried to sound as gentle as possible. I'm in a meeting. It'll be over soon. You. Whatever. Go if you want. Acting all busy now. Forget it. The call ended abruptly, and Anna finished applying the medicine. She stood up to pack the drawings. Senior. Thank you. Let's continue talking. Didn't Willow ask you to go out? Anna put the drawings in her bag and slipped on her high heels. You'll be distracted. Go find her. She was about to leave but then stopped. George. Aina's voice trembled slightly. I don't want to see you compromising yourself for others. She turned her head, her eyes full of unspoken words. Even though she is the one you like, is it really love or just obsession? Anna closed the door and left, leaving me stunned. When did I start liking Willow? It seems I've forgotten. I just know I've liked her for a long time. Since the moment she moved into my heart, I felt jealous when I saw her with other men and felt lost when she ignored me. No matter what I did, the first person I thought of was her. In school, I secretly wrote her name in my textbooks, dreaming of a beautiful future together. She seemed to have become my entire life. But is it love or obsession? I seem to have blurred the line. Why do people have obsessions? Probably because of unsatisfied desires and regrets buried deep in their hearts. What am I seeking through all my efforts for Willow? To have her, or just to claim a title? It seems like neither. It's to give an explanation for all these years of feelings. I want a complete ending, a conclusion with Willow. As for what the ending is, it seems unimportant now. I still went to find Willow. When I opened the door to the private room, the smell of smoke and alcohol filled my nostrils. The lights were dim, and it was very noisy. Willow sat in the middle, surrounded by small wine glasses, seemingly playing some game. Yo, who is this? Willow glanced at me and then turned back to continue joking with them. Don't mind him. Let's continue. Several pairs of eyes scrutinized me as I walked to Willow. What are you doing here? To apologize to you. The guy sitting next to her started to jeer. Willow, you're such a queen, acting all high and mighty. Yeah, your little lover is here to apologize to you. Tell that to apologize. Amid the laughter, Willow casually grabbed a glass and filled it with a mix of whiskey and beer. Drink this, and I'll forgive you. I didn't look at the glass, only at her heavily made-up face. You know why I came to apologize? I don't care why. Okay, even if you don't care, I want to tell you, do you remember the promise we made 10 years ago? The people around perked up. Again, wow, a promise. Willow, you have a 10-year promise with this guy. Shut up. I shouted, and the room fell silent, seeing my red eyes and clenched fists. They knew further teasing would lead to trouble. Willow looked at me angrily. Why are you showing me that face? Think you're all that now? I've always been capable. I just want to know if you remember what you said 10 years ago. Yeah, if we weren't in a relationship in 10 years, we'd try being together, right? Willow sneered, hugging the man next to her, her expression playful. So, did you take it seriously? Disappointment flooded my heart. In this small, gaudy room, our 10 years seemed like a joke, making me feel ashamed. Did I let go? Maybe it was her nasty attitude, or maybe I was tired of these years. The unexpected relief happened in an instant. Yes, I took it seriously. All the good you did for me back then, I remembered it all. So I secretly vowed to always be good to you. No matter what our future would be. So what? I changed my mind. I don't want to continue like this, so I'm apologizing to you. After this drink, we'll have no more contact. With a determined resolve, I downed the drink in one gulp, placing the glass heavily on the table. Willow looked at me, her contempt turning into anger. The next moment, she hugged the guy next to her. Kiss me. The man, like an eager puppy, held Willow's face and kissed her fiercely. The jeering was deafening. I found myself surprisingly calm. The scene that should have made me despair made me laugh. Seeing their dirty act, I felt disgusted with my past self for doing so much for someone like this. I lit a cigarette and sneered, watching them separate, panting. Wonderful, just wonderful. Holding the cigarette, I searched my wallet, pulled out a photo of me and Willow, and set it on fire, throwing it on the ground. Goodbye. Oh no, never see you again. I turned and left, closing the door to the room. Stepping outside, I suddenly realized it wasn't that cold anymore. Looking down at the road and the greenery, the snow had melted, leaving only faint traces of water. Is winter over? I muttered. The snow has finally melted. The alcohol kicked in, and I sat by the roadside quietly smoking. A pristine white CT5 pulled up in front of me. The window rolled down, and Anna stuck her head out, smiling brightly. Hey, handsome. Need a ride? I smiled back. How did you find me, senior? Big brother, this is the road to your house, just a street away. I was wondering which big idiot would sit by the roadside, smoking like an emo boy in this cold weather. So you saw me, the big idiot. Hot. I patted my butt, stood up, opened the car door, and got into the passenger seat. Is it convenient, master? You, of course. Please fasten your seatbelt. Where to? Handsome. Home. To pack my things. Anna was taken aback, leaning in to sniff me. Have you been drinking? Why are you packing? Where are you going? I broke up with Willow. My tone was so calm that Anna was incredulous. All these years, I misjudged and loved the wrong person. I told her everything Willow had done, including kissing someone randomly today. Anna just listened quietly. Driving. I've grown to hate her and this city. I think it's time for me to go home. I never got used to living in a big city. And the studio. What about us? You're just going to quit and run home, leaving a mess behind. Bury your head in the sand when you encounter trouble? I scratched my head. Senior, you're still here. I'll leave the studio to you. Enough. Anna glared at me fiercely. George, listen to me. Wherever you go, I go. Wherever you go, the studio goes. I've got your back, so stop thinking about running away. The lease on the house ended this month, and I'd almost packed everything. I didn't have much stuff in Beijing. Most of the things in the rented house were from the studio, but Anna, a true Beijinger, threw her car at home, grabbed 2 huge suitcases, and followed me to the airport. I was dumbfounded when I saw her. You're really doing this? You think I was joking? Anna panted. Can't you be a gentleman? Damn, this is heavy. I was silent for a moment. What is this, senior? You should stay in Beijing. I'll come visit you when I have time. Stop whining. Get over. Kieran, help me with the check-in. What are you looking at? Never seen this before. I looked at Anna, feeling a bit emotional. She looked so beautiful today, almost unrecognizable. We had always been polite yet distant to each other, and I had never really looked at her closely. Today, she wore a cream-colored coat and camel high heels, her slightly curled blonde hair cascading over her shoulders. Her tall, slender figure was dashing and elegant. Her eyes, both charming and cool, paired with her distinct features, gave her an aloof air, and her words were particularly bold today. Even on the plane, I was still in a daze. How did things get so strange between me and Anna? I've never been to your hometown. Anna gazed out the window at the clouds. I've lived in Beijing all my life and rarely been elsewhere. Don't overthink it. I'm just taking a trip to clear my mind. As for Monkey and Big Yellow, they will stay in Beijing. With the internet so advanced, no work problem can't be solved. Don't worry. Okay. After getting off the plane, I noticed several missed calls from an unknown number. I called back, and the person on the other end remained silent. Hello, who is this? I frowned. If you don't speak, I'll hang up. Anna glanced at me. Who is it? Hearing Anna's voice, the person on the other end finally spoke. You have a woman with you. Anger surged within me. What's it to you? Willow realized I had blocked all her contacts and eventually used someone else's phone to call me. George, Willow paused. You never used to talk to me like this. So what? So, are you treating me this way because of that woman? My hand holding the phone trembled slightly. Disappointment and anger welling up inside. What exactly do you want to say? Are you sure you don't want to reconcile with me and instead be with that woman? To hell with you. I hung up and blocked the number. Willow disgusted me. I didn't realize one could start hating someone so quickly. All the affection and thoughts I had for her vanished, leaving only ugly memories I no longer wanted to recall. Anna stared at me in a daze. Was that Willow? Yes, I blocked her. Do you regret it? I grabbed Anna's suitcase. Regret? Not a bit. She's just a burden. I made the right decision to leave the past behind. I feel so relieved. Let's go home. It wasn't until I brought Anna to my doorstep that I realized. Damn, why did I bring a woman home? This isn't right. What kind of relationship do I have with Anna? It's purely revolutionary. Friendship. We weren't close enough to bring her home, right? This is so inappropriate. Standing at the courtyard gate, I turned to look at Anna. Anna blinked her big eyes at me. Senior. What? I originally thought of getting a hotel for her but suddenly remembered. Damn, I live in a village. I face-palmed. Nothing. My house is a bit shabby. You might not be used to it. How about no need? How could I not be used to it? My family used to live in the countryside too. Just as I was scratching my head, the gate opened, and my parents, ready for a walk, glanced at us, then looked at each other, quickly approached us, bypassed me, and grabbed Anna's hand. My parents beamed with joy, as if they had struck gold, afraid Anna might run away. Are you George's girlfriend? So beautiful. We're so happy to have you here. Welcome. This kid, George, didn't even call ahead. We didn't prepare anything. Look, Anna didn't refute, just smiled sweetly at them, handing over the gift she brought. Hello, Uncle and Auntie Tilda, sorry to disturb you so late. Don't say that. You're not disturbing at all. You're like family now, no need to bring anything. I stood there, speechless. The world mocks me while I stand alone. 13. I stepped forward, smiling awkwardly. Mom, Dad, Anna is not. Ow. Anna stepped on my foot with her heel. Not what? My parents glared at me, waiting for me to continue. She just came back with me to discuss some business matters. That's why we didn't notify you in advance. After my parents' enthusiastic hospitality, including offering to cook a late-night snack, we finally awkwardly stood in my room. I was speechless. Anna cleared her throat. Ow. About that, I understand. I understand. I pulled out a quilt from the cabinet. I'll sleep on the floor, Anna blushed and glanced at me. I meant, can you step out first? I need to take a shower and change into my pajamas. I immediately slipped out, heading to the living room to devour some fruits. Mom asked, tell us honestly, how did you find such a beautiful girlfriend? Honestly, I don't think you deserve her. What do you mean, I don't deserve her? I'm handsome and talented, a true hero, who travels the world. I definitely deserve her. Yeah, right. Dad looked at me disdainfully. You must have something on her. I was speechless. Just then, a message popped up on my phone. Fine, George, you're heartless. Since you did this, don't regret it. I'll never talk to you again, and you'd better not come begging me. She never messaged me this frequently before. What does she mean by this? I replied with a single word, scram, and blocked the number. Entering the room, I still felt a bit awkward. Anna was drying her hair. Maybe I should sleep on the floor, Anna said, feeling a bit embarrassed. No need, senior, you're a guest, but why? Pretend to be my girlfriend. Just wanted to make your parents happy. You've been single for so many years, of course, they're worried. Besides, it's no big deal for me to pretend. That's reasonable. Thanks, senior. I'll treat you to a meal tomorrow and give you the bed. Then I won't be polite. Anna lay down, and I turned off the light and lay down too. Are you asleep? Anna asked softly. No, I'm not. Can you tell me how you fell for Willow? Why bring her up? It's a mood killer. I'm just curious. All right then. I lay there, staring at the ceiling, as did Anna, blinking and waiting for me to speak. This is also Willow's hometown. We met in high school. Memories, like shadows, always come with a layer of filter when you recall them. In high school, my family was poor. While others ate lunch in the cafeteria, I would eat near the abandoned washroom on the fourth floor, with spicy sauce and pickles on bread, always the same old combo. That's when I met Willow. Though she was beautiful, she had a wild streak. She was swinging a branch, swaggering upstairs, and happened to pass by the west corner of the fourth floor, where she saw me sneaking around like I was hiding from someone. She approached me warily and asked, "What are you hiding? You better hand it over." I refused, so she kept poking me with the branch. I was only halfway through my meal, and her actions made me furious. I grabbed her stick and snapped it in half. See? You wanted to see, right? I'm just eating my meal. What's your problem? She looked at my lunchbox with disdain and said, "You treat this as a treasure, hiding to eat? You're the one with the problem." Then she changed her tone and threatened, "Go ask around about me, Willow. Everyone knows the fourth floor washroom is my turf. Since you're here, you have to share. That's the rule." She snatched my lunchbox, tore apart the bread, scooped out the pickles, and ran downstairs. I was speechless. Someone actually took my meal as protection money. I felt a bit sorry for her, thinking she must be really hungry, so I shouted, "Down the stairs, you can eat, but return the lunchbox when you're done." Before I finished my bread, she was back, panting, with my lunchbox. She said, "If I take my little brother's protection fee, I have to make sure he eats. That's my role as the boss." She opened the lunchbox, which was now filled with egg-fried rice. This scene flashed first in my memory, like the prologue of a story. Then, all those high school memories with Willow came flooding back, like fragments, leaving behind snapshots of her smiling face, the girl who gave me white rabbit candies between classes, the girl who bought a new bike as an excuse to get a ride when my bike broke, the girl who talked about university and future dreams with me by the roadside. But there was one image, one smile that was different. Bullying, a topic I couldn't avoid in high school. It wasn't originally related to me, but one day, I wrote about it in an essay. I detailed what I saw in the bathroom, the dirty paper being rubbed on the victim's head. After the teacher read my essay, she called me to the office. I saw the bully being scolded by someone else. She pretended to talk to me about other things, but quietly asked if the person in my essay was the bully. I nodded, cautiously. I thought nothing would happen, but after class, I was cornered on the playground. I continued. That day, after they beat me, fracturing my leg, and were about to drag me to the bathroom to do the same, Willow appeared, still to wild her, swinging the branch. She said, "My little brother is under my protection. If anyone touches him, I have to step in. That's the rule." I stared at the dark ceiling, the blurry memory refusing to clear up, but I tried to recreate the scene as best as I could. She was just a girl. The branch was snapped again, and she was dragged into the bathroom in my place. Unlike the bow, she came out looking unscathed. Willow stood in front of me, smoothing her messy short hair, and said, "I told you, you're under my protection. You must have thought they defeated me, right?" I was pretending to be weak. Ha, got you. I knew she was just pretending to be tough. She always liked to act like the big boss in control. Anna asked, "And then they were arrested and, I heard, even sent to jail." Willow told me this while I was bedridden at home, recovering. Anna kept asking, "Anything else?" She took care of me in school and was a pretty girl. After that incident, we were both ostracized, so she stuck to me every day. We played during breaks, walked home together, and ate by the washroom. Having a pretty, kind girl protect you during adolescence, how could any guy not fall for her? So I confessed, but she lightly rejected me, saying I only liked her because I was young. She said if I still liked her in 10 years, she would agree. Oh. Anna turned over. "All right, enough, I'm sleepy." "Okay, good night. Senior, good night, you jerk." Time flew by, and Anna settled into my home. I initially suggested renting a place for her, but before she could speak, my mom came charging in with a broom. "Get out, if you want ZU to move out. We'll sever our mother-son relationship. Father-son too. I don't have a dumb son like you." So, Anna and I started a countryside life. After work, I took her to the fields, telling her stories from my childhood. Anna was very comfortable here. In Beijing, she ate out or ordered takeout every day. Here, she enjoyed 3 clean, home-cooked meals daily, with a variety of new dishes. She even gained 2 pounds, leading to morning runs together. Life became interesting. Time with Anna was relaxing and pleasant. However, I couldn't admit one thing. I gradually developed feelings for Anna. I despised myself. There should be a gap between relationships. Even though I fell out of love with Willow quickly, it's too soon to develop feelings for Anna. I kept my distance, never crossing the line or expressing these feelings. It's a desecration of my feelings and unfair to Anna, so I kept it buried. But our peaceful days were disrupted by Willow's reappearance. When Nana and I returned from our morning run, we saw Willow getting out of her car. She took off her sunglasses and looked Anna up and down. "George, you're replacing me with this woman." I laughed in anger. "Replace you? Seriously, do you even deserve to be replaced?" Anna crossed her arms, not getting angry, and stood in front of me. "So, you're Willow. What, am I famous?" Willow stepped closer, not backing down. "No. I'm just curious, if you didn't value your relationship with George, why come all the way here now? First, we've known each other for over 10 years. Who are you to interfere in our affairs? Second, this is my hometown. Can't I come back? Sorry, but George's business is my business. He doesn't want to see you, right, George?" I nodded and pulled Anna closer. "First, this is indeed your hometown. Whether you come back or not is none of my business, but this is my doorstep. Why are you hanging around here? Second, she's not an outsider. You can leave now." I started to walk away with Anna, but Willow called out, "It's okay, George. I admit I went too far before. I understand you're angry now, but our 10 years together can't be undone by a little hiccup, can it?" I smiled. "Get lost." Willow frowned. "Are you serious?" "I'm very serious, and I'm done wasting words with you. Just so you know, seeing you disgusts me." Willow lowered her eyes, looking very dejected. "Can we talk alone? I don't have time." Before Willow could say more, I dragged Anna back home. Anna and I seemed to have a mutual understanding, as we didn't mention Willow's appearance at all. Until the evening, when I checked my phone and saw a message. It was from Willow. She had sent a photo, her legs dangling in the air. It was the local water tower she had climbed up, just near my house. The water tower was high enough to be fatal if one fell. If you don't come, I'll jump, I sneered and replied. Whether you jump or not is none of my business. Let's end this. George, before I could block her, she replied instantly. Let's clear things up, just you and me. Holding the phone, my brain was bombarded with memories and the pain she had caused. But I hesitated. Finally, I reply, we really have nothing to talk about. Actually, I have my reasons. I didn't stay with you because I have cancer. If you don't come, I'll really jump. I don't have much time left anyway. I was dumbfounded. The evening breeze brought a slight chill as I donned a jacket and headed to the water tower. With a cigarette, Willow stood there, holding a branch, staring at the distant fields. George, you came. She turned, tears still wet in her eyes. I didn't want to look at her, focusing instead on my hand holding the cigarette. Nice ring. Did she give it to you? Willow stepped closer, looking at my hand. 10 years together, and she's more important than me. You're sick. I stepped back and took a deep drag. I like the ring, and I like her. That's the truth. I blew smoke into the air. Remember, you taught me to smoke, but then you quit. To be honest, I thought I liked you for these 10 years, but it wasn't love. Willow choked up. Then what was it? Dependency, comfort in the status quo, not wanting change. Back then, you protected me, telling everyone I was your little brother, your person. Touching me meant touching you. But thinking back, you were the big boss, and I wasn't the only little brother. You must have had many, some for long, some for short. I followed you for 10 years, got used to obeying you, to your attitude, because I thought I was pursuing you. I did many things willingly, thinking it was deserved. I looked at her coldly. Maybe I liked you during those 10 years, but you treated that affection like garbage. You said you knew I liked you in the first year we met. Why didn't you reject me? That's what I'm most curious about. Because, she paused for a long time before saying, because you were my last fallback. Last fallback, yes, George, you were my last fallback. She lifted her head, looking at me earnestly. Let's get married, George. I laughed out loud. Willow, you're insane. She hugged me. George, don't push me away. Willow, let go. I don't want things to get ugly. I won't. You used to love me the most. Why are you doing this? I'm even proposing. Just forgive. Emmy, I pushed her away, adjusting my clothes. You said you had cancer. I don't want to insult you, so let's keep some dignity. I'm leaving. Willow grabbed me, suddenly laughing. Heh, I don't have cancer. I lie. Fooled you again. I sneered and shook her off. I expected as much. I turned to leave, but Willow clung to my coat. Have some decency. Last fallback. Stop saying disgusting things, Willow. Seeing you now makes me sick. What? You treated me like dirt before. And now you're playing this game. You only love yourself and care about your own interests. Kissing a guy you met 5 minutes ago in a bar. Then proposing to me. I looked at her and said, clearly, I wish what you said was true. Cursing yourself like this. No one can save you. Willow, remember this. I don't like you anymore. Not anymore. Got it? I didn't give her another glance and walked away, only hearing the sound of the branch breaking behind me. Walking back home, I found Anna waiting at the intersection. She stood there under the moonlight, arms crossed, tilting her head and smiling at me. Dak already, young master. How was your meeting with the little lover? You know exactly who I went to meet. And how long have you been eavesdropping? Own up, Anna asked. Wait, how did you know? I stepped closer and stared at her. Confess. Oh, you weren't home, and I was bored. Okay, so I went for a walk and happened to see you sneaking around. Who's sneaking around? I facepalmed and looked seriously at Anna. You heard what she said, right? Put yourself in my shoes. What would you think? Well, to be blunt, I'd feel disgusted. I spread my hands. Exactly. I was utterly disgusted. So, Don't think I had any lingering feelings for her, you. Anna burst out laughing. I was puzzled. What are you laughing at? You're explaining yourself to me. Could it be? Anna looked at me. With a sly smile. You've fallen for me? I panicked and waved my hands, but Anna quickly grabbed my flailing hands. I heard the whole thing. I think I heard someone say they liked me. I'd. What's with this stammering? You said you liked the ring, and you liked her. Didn't I give you that ring? You. Cut it out, coward. Anna pulled my arm. Let's go home. A few months later, on the day Anna and I got married, Willow showed up. She was wearing loose clothes and slippers, with a hat on. Looking swollen like a pregnant woman, quite different from before but still recognizable. Seeing her, I felt nothing, no disgust, no hatred, no lament about the ravages of time. It was like seeing a random person on the street or an old man passing by on the subway. This person had nothing to do with me. I wouldn't care or invest any emotion. You're here, come in. Willow looked stunned, then her eyes reddened. George, she wanted to say something, but I cut her off. Didn't the baby's father come with you? I asked politely. She looked down at herself, paused for a few seconds, and said with a choked voice, the baby's father doesn't know. I thought to myself, damn it, just say he's busy or something. Now it's awkward for everyone. Just don't make a scene at my wedding. I beg you. I laughed awkwardly. Ha ha ha. Please, take a seat. No, I just wanted to see you. She raised her hand as if to touch my face, and I stepped back, bumping into a waiter. Oh, sorry. I quickly apologized, thinking of an excuse to send her away. You're getting more handsome, and look at me now. I thought, who cares about your looks? This isn't a movie. I know you don't want to see me. I just wanted to apologize. A friend nearby saw what was happening, knowing my history with Willow, and rushed over with a mocking tone. Oh, who is this lady? He glanced at her and continued. How many months along? Little girl or beau? I whispered. This is Willow. Get her out of here. Don't let her cause trouble. Ha ha ha. You chat. I'll be back. Dizzy day today. With that, I turned and walked away, heading straight for my wife. Soon after, the wedding began. After the ceremony, Anna and I started toasting the guests. My friend suddenly came over and whispered. Willow left. Looked really sad. Huh? I was busy toasting. I felt no ripples in my heart, as if a fly had been buzzing in the corner and then flew away. My happiness was right here, in front of me, and Willow. Everything about her had nothing to do with me.
After breaking up, I decisively quit my job and prepared to go abroad to develop my career. But suddenly, my ex-girlfriend, who is also my former boss, suddenly showed up at the airport to win me back. She said she had fired her assistant and that from now on, I would be the second in command at the company. However, just when I had decided to give up going abroad to stay with her, she shook my hand off and called the assistant to flirt. Santi, you won. This useless guy really thought I would try to keep him. She then sneered and said to me, it was just a joke. Did you really take it seriously? If you want to leave, then go. This time, no one's going to stop you. The colleagues around us laughed at me, as if I were a dog who would turn back the moment she waved her hand. But what they didn't know was that the only reason I had given up going abroad was because my new company had just completed an acquisition, and I was going to be their new CEO. Chapter 1. When the CEO's ex-girlfriend, Margarita, proudly told me that the retention she had just made was just a joke, I wasn't offended at all. I simply took out my phone and ordered a taxi back to my place. The colleagues who were present looked at me with mocking expressions and sneered. Stephen, the CEO already said she has no intention of keeping you. What are you still doing standing there? Aren't you buying your plane ticket to leave? Didn't you say you had an offer abroad? What's going on? Now they don't want you anymore. Margarita watched them indulgently, not stopping them from attacking me with their mockery. This kind of uncomfortable workplace harassment had surrounded me a few years ago. Back then, I would have responded, feeling deeply offended. My girlfriend, who was the CEO, never defended me, but now, I felt nothing, didn't even seem sad. I just felt like I was watching a clown show. My business doesn't seem to concern you, does it? I said indifferently. Margarita snorted disdainfully, looked me up and down with a look of contempt. At this point, are you still denying it? With your capabilities, if it weren't for me supporting you all these years, You'd probably have no food to eat. Going abroad. What a joke. Yes, I'm a graduate from a prestigious university. I left a high-paying job that many would envy. I was by her side since she started from scratch, but to Margarita, I meant nothing. It was because of her support that I could be where I was. I laughed inwardly. I once loved Margarita deeply. Even if, after years of struggle, I was still just a manager, I would never have complained. But it was only when she, because of a new assistant named Santiago, started taking my projects and giving them to him. She even blamed me for the issues he caused, making me carry the burden, and with that, she lowered my salary and suspended me, while promoting Santiago and giving him a raise. That was when I finally realized that this love, which I alone had maintained, was no longer worth it. So, I resigned and broke up with her, deciding to go abroad. But I didn't expect that, just as I was about to board the plane, she would come to make this joke. I wasn't sad at all, just surprised. How could I have been so blind to fall in love with a woman like this? I shook my head, not wanting to waste any more time with her. You're right about everything. Can I leave now? I turned to walk away, but suddenly, Margarita grabbed my hand, looked me in the eye, and said with disdain, "What a good actor you are. We already figured out that the excuse of going abroad was a lie, and now you're still acting. For old time's sake, I'm going to give you a chance. Come back with me. I'll make you Santi's assistant." Seeing her attitude of benevolence, I finally understood the true purpose of Margarita's joke. On the outside, it looked like a bet with Santiago to see if I would give up, but in reality, all she wanted was for me to stay at the company to continue being her servant, working for her and Santiago. There's no denying that Margarita had planned Santiago's future well. She promoted him, raised his salary, and sent him support. Meanwhile, I, who had worked step by step to help her fulfill her dream of being the boss, had everything taken away from me. She paved the way for Santiago without hesitation. I laughed in disdain. With Santiago's level, he doesn't even deserve my help. Margarita immediately tensed up. "Stephen, it seems I've spoiled you too much over the years. That's why you think you're so important." Before she could finish her sentence, suddenly, a figure appeared walking towards us. "Rita." Margarita immediately changed her tone and smiled sweetly when she saw him. Santiago was the only person in the entire company who didn't address Margarita as CEO, but called her by her name in an intimate manner. Not even I, her legitimate boyfriend, had the privilege of calling her by her name. Santiago glanced briefly at me and smiled at Margarita. "Look, I told you. Stephen just said he was going abroad as an excuse." As expected, he didn't leave. Margarita threw me a disdainful look and said coldly, "There are people who think they're too important, thinking the company can't go on without them. Unlike Santi, who is so capable and humble. If he doesn't seize the opportunity, that's on him. Let's go." But Santiago stopped me, looking sad. "Rita, we still can't leave. Since Stephen resigned, I can't find my watch. That watch is a family heirloom from my grandmother." And suddenly, he looked at me and pleaded, "Stephen, please give it back." Before I could understand what was going on, Margarita glared at me furiously and said, "Stephen, did you steal something?" Just as I was about to deny it, Margarita interrupted me coldly. "Don't keep denying it. Would Santi lie about this? Now you don't even have a job. Who knows if you're capable of stealing something?" She then ordered the others, "Open his suitcase. Search everything." I looked at Margarita, stunned. After 10 years of living together, she knew exactly who I was, and now, because of Santiago's baseless lie, she wanted to open my suitcase in front of everyone. At first, when she made that cruel joke, I didn't want to argue with her, but now, this almost bullying attitude really made me furious. It wasn't disappointment or pain. It was just rage and disgust. "Enough." I shouted in fury, but Santiago feigned false kindness. "Why are you so angry, Stephen? Could it be that it was really you, right?" Margarita looked at me with even more disdain and ordered 2 people to restrain me, saying coldly, "Don't worry about him. Keep searching." I watched as they turned my suitcase upside down, and my personal belongings fell to the floor. My anger reached its peak, and I shouted for airport security. Only then did they stop. Embarrassed. "We didn't find anything," Santiago said, disappointed. "Forget it. Let's stop making Stephen go through a hard time. He has his own stuff." Margarita shot me a deadly glance. Someone must have sold whatever was stolen, and with a sweet smile, she told Santiago, "Don't worry, Santi, I'll go with you to buy another one." As they left, Margarita shot me a final cold look. "Stephen, when you're on the street, don't come asking me for help." With those words, she walked away with her entourage, and Santiago looked at me with a challenging smile. I said nothing, only laughed in my mind. They still don't know that the company's project is about to collapse, and it will soon be acquired. As for me, I gave up going abroad simply because the new company appointed me as the new CEO of this company. Chapter 2. My new company's headquarters is overseas, and it's a well-known multinational corporation. Back when I was about to graduate, I received an invitation from them because of my outstanding academic performance. However, Margarita persuaded me to stay and join her startup, so I declined the offer. Not long ago, I broke up with Margarita, and immediately after, they called me, offering me a job. Just as I was about to board the plane, I received a call from their subsidiary in China, announcing that they had decided to acquire the local company, which included Margarita's business, and to integrate resources, they had decided to make me the new CEO of the company. After dropping my luggage at home, I arranged to meet with the local head, President Kim. I arrived at the restaurant ahead of time to wait for him, but I didn't expect to see Margarita and Santiago there, chatting and laughing. When they saw me, Margarita froze for a moment, with a look of impatience. She walked up to me and said, "Steven, why are you sticking to me like a piece of gum? Didn't you act all tough just now? Regret it?" Before I could say anything, Santiago, who was beside her, smiled and said, "Rita, there were so many people just now. Steven must have declined out of face, right? How about this, Steven? If you apologize to Rita properly, she might still give you a chance to work. What do you think, Rita?" Margarita glared at me and pretended to deliberate. "Well, since Santi is pleading for you, it's not impossible. If you finish this bottle of wine, I might still let you be my assistant." She pointed to a bottle of wine on the table. I sneered inwardly. Margarita knew full well that I had a stomach condition and couldn't drink, yet she still set such a condition. It was nothing more than a way to put me in a corner, waiting for me to beg her. But she had miscalculated. "You're overthinking it. I'm waiting for someone." "Waiting for someone? Heh, your mouth sure is tough," Margarita scoffed. "We've known each other for so many years. Don't think I don't know what you're up to. You must think it's humiliating to be an assistant to Santi, right? But in this day and age, how much is face really worth?" Just then, President Kim, the guest I had arranged to meet, walked over. He took the initiative to shake my hand. "Sorry, President Lee, for keeping you waiting." I directly ignored Margarita and shook hands with President Kim, smiling. "President Kim, let's talk inside. There are 2 flies buzzing around here, making a lot of noise." All right. President Kim agreed. Margarita looked at me in disbelief. I was about to walk into the private room with President Kim when I heard Santiago say to Margarita, loud enough for me to hear, "Looks like Steven has arranged a meeting with some headhunter to find a job." Huh. The next moment, Margarita suddenly walked up to block my way. With a sneer, she said, "Steven, you've really gotten bold. Huh. You'd rather find a job on your own than beg me. But I have to remind you, considering your previous performance at work, I've already spoken to all the colleagues in Linzhou. No one is willing to hire you. Now, do you regret it?" She looked at me with a mocking smile, seemingly waiting for me to turn back. But she was wrong. With Margarita's level of ability, she was no threat to me, and because of my departure, Santiago had taken over all major projects, and the company was now facing numerous risks, on the verge of bankruptcy, but she was clueless about it. I said calmly, "Margarita, confidence is a good thing, but I hope you'll keep the same mindset when your company gets acquired after going bankrupt." "Steven, you," Margarita, furious, was about to curse at me, but she suddenly turned to look at President Kim. She pulled out a business card and handed it to him. With an arrogant tone, she said, "CEO of the Sun Group, Margarita. Steven was my former employee, and he was dismissed for misconduct. I suggest your company be cautious in hiring him." After finishing, she shot me a glance, linked arms with Santiago, and arrogantly left. President Kim frowned and looked at me, holding the business card. "This, just a clown," I said with a slight smile. President Kim casually threw the business card into the trash can. We entered the private room and discussed the acquisition of Margarita's company. We would make a big deal out of the Sun Group's project falling apart and seize the opportunity to buy it at a low price. President Kim also brought out a personnel list from the original company and asked me to help optimize it. I was well acquainted with everyone's business abilities and personalities, so I promised to provide a plan as soon as possible. After finishing the discussion with President Kim, I returned home, but as soon as I walked through the door, I saw Margarita sitting on my couch. She was crossing her fair legs, coldly staring at me. I couldn't help but frown. "What are you doing here?" Chapter 3. I glanced at the door in my house, then I remembered that after our breakup, I had forgotten to delete her fingerprint from the system. Margarita didn't answer. Instead, she coldly said, "Who told you about the bankruptcy and acquisition of my company?" I was busy changing my shoes and didn't bother responding to her. Her face darkened even further. "As you wished, the company really did go bankrupt," she said. I raised an eyebrow, surprised at how quickly President Kim had acted. It was only noon, and by the afternoon, everything had been settled. Margarita continued. Stephen, although I don't know how you found out about this in advance, don't get too happy too soon. This acquisition was done by a large corporation, and they'll help me address the problems from our previous projects. I'm still in charge of the company's management. I made myself a cup of tea, not at all surprised. Of course, I knew that. The reason the original staff was still in place was simply because my optimization list hadn't been finalized yet. So what? I asked casually. Margarita stared at me intently. I want you to hand over the previous client resources to Santi, and I'll arrange for you to be a manager in the new company. You need to understand, with the help of the parent company, Sun Group will only become stronger. I'm offering you the manager position as a bargaining chip. It's already a pretty generous offer. I suddenly smiled. She said it so confidently, as if she were giving me a huge favor. But I knew all too well that after the company was acquired, President Kim would publish the development documents I had written. One of the key points was that positions in the new company would be based on individual ability. Margarita's request was just a way to use my previous client resources to let Santiago showcase his abilities and secure his position as vice president. I had to admit, her love for Santiago was deep, but unfortunately, she had bet on the wrong person. Margarita, you're quite naive, I said. My words immediately made her face darken. She suddenly stood up and walked towards me, step by step. Her eyes bore into mine with a look as if she had figured me out. Stephen, I know you're still jealous of Santi. You're upset, wondering why I changed towards you and am so good to Santi. But I hope you understand that our positions are no longer the same. I'm the boss, a capitalist, and you're just someone who works for me. A boyfriend like you is no longer compatible with me. But Santi, he brings me new experiences and the joy of being a woman. You can't compare to him. Margarita looked at me deeply, her voice unusually gentle. I'm only giving you one night to think it over. With that, she turned and left. I shook my head helplessly. I immediately deleted her fingerprint from the system, then opened my computer and sent out tomorrow's layoff list. The next morning, I officially started at the company. When I entered, my colleagues were all chattering about the acquisition. Margarita, as usual, was painting a rosy picture for everyone. She claimed that she was still part of the management team, and if everyone worked hard, things would be just like before, until someone noticed me, and her gaze suddenly brightened. She walked up to me with a smug tone, as if she had expected this all along. Have you come to your senses? Are you willing to hand over the client information to Santi now? Chapter 4. I couldn't help but laugh and shake my head. Margarita's expression darkened, and she was about to say something when Santiago, who was standing nearby, laughed and spoke up. Stephen, what's the point of this? Since you're not planning to hand over the client info, then what are you even doing here? Don't tell me you came here to actually work. His words were met with amused chuckles from the other colleagues. I raised an eyebrow and nodded. I came here to work. Immediately, the colleagues who had gathered around started laughing at me. Work? He's probably here looking for a job. Did he think just because our company got acquired, he could sneak in? Isn't this just a dream? Stephen, weren't you supposed to go overseas? How come you're here applying for a job? Ha ha ha. I was about to respond, but Margarita's face darkened as she sharply interrupted me. Stephen, are you done yet? I gave you a chance when I asked you to hand over the client data to Santi. Are you still being stubborn? Didn't you understand what I said yesterday? Do you want to be unemployed that badly? I shook my head helplessly. Margarita, you're the one about to become unemployed. You might want to start making plans. Margarita stared at me, then suddenly sneered. Look at this Stephen. Has he lost his mind? And now he wants me to make plans. How? I used to be the boss of this company. Do you think you can fire me? Stephen, do you believe that with me here today, you won't even be able to get a job as a janitor? Before she could finish, two people walked in through the company's front door. It was President Kim's team from the parent company, sent to help me restructure the company. Margarita recognized them, and her face changed immediately. She quickly forced a smile and greeted them. Chairman Han, you're here. I wasn't sure if our new CEO had arrived, but I'd be happy to welcome him. Chairman Han gave her a quick glance, but said nothing. He walked directly up to me and respectfully nodded. Then he introduced me to the others. This is our new CEO, President Stephen Lee. For a moment, Margarita's smile froze on her face. She awkwardly asked, Chairman Han, you're not joking, are you? This Stephen is just a useless, spineless person. How could you? Suddenly, Chairman Han pulled out the layoff list I had personally prepared the day before and slammed it onto her face. Pointing at her and Santiago, he coldly said, you two are being laid off. Pack your things and leave immediately. Chapter 5. Margarita picked up the layoff list in disbelief. After reading it, her face turned as white as a sheet. She stared at me with wide eyes, her voice trembling. How could this happen? Stephen, how could you be the CEO? Are you joking with me? Chairman Han furrowed his brows in annoyance, glaring at Margarita. Joking? Does President Lee have to joke with you? President Lee is an elite talent recruited through the headquarters, specially sent here to be the new CEO of this company. I'm well aware that President Lee was once your employee, but you were too blind to recognize talent." His words left Margarita stunned, unable to speak. Even the colleagues who were watching us from the sidelines looked at me with a mix of shock and disbelief. None of them had ever imagined that the person they had once bullied in the workplace would one day become their boss. In that moment, someone reacted quickly, rushing up to shake my hand. Stephen, I didn't mean what I said earlier. I'm sorry. It was all because President Mai told us to suppress you." "Yeah, Stephen, I always thought you were the most capable person in our company." They all chimed in, apologizing and trying to flatter me. It was hard to miss the stark contrast between their previous hostile behavior and the desperate attempts to please me now. Of course, I knew they were scared that I might fire them too, since finding a job these days was tough, but I wasn't going to do that just yet. If I fired them now, it would seem like personal vengeance. Even if layoffs were necessary, they needed to be justified and legal to minimize losses. As for Margarita and Santiago, they were the biggest problems in this company and had to leave immediately. Margarita could tell that she had completely lost control of the situation. Panicking, she looked at me, then suddenly rushed forward, pushing past others, and grabbed my hand. Her voice was weak and pleading. "Stephen, how could you be so cruel to me? I was your girlfriend for 10 whole years. I've always loved you the most. If I hadn't pushed you to leave, you might not have become CEO. Let's get back together, please." Looking at Margarita's eager eyes, I suddenly remembered how furious she had been when I accidentally revealed our relationship in the past. At that time, when our relationship was exposed and couldn't be hidden anymore, she had harshly ordered everyone in the company chat to avoid discussing it. To show how impartial she was, she even deducted my salary and performance bonuses for that month. Now, she was lowering her pride and publicly begging me to reconcile. It was clear that she was desperate. I couldn't help but sneer. "Margarita, do you really think it's possible?" That answer didn't need to be spoken. Everyone in the room understood it well. The grievances I had endured in this company made firing her 1,000 times over not even close to enough. How could I possibly reconcile with her? And let's not forget, there was still Santiago in the picture. Margarita, now desperate, looked at Santiago in panic and suddenly blurted out urgently, "Stephen, the past was all my fault. I was too spoiled, and that's why I didn't know my limits. I'll change now, with you by my side. If you must fire someone, fire Santiago. It's him who's been stealing your credit, always slandering you in front of me. It's all his fault." Then, with a sharp glare, she turned to Santiago and shouted, "Santiago, why aren't you leaving? You messed up last time, and Stephen had to take the blame for you. After Stephen left, how many projects have you ruined? You useless piece of trash. Get out." Chapter 6. The sudden verbal attack left everyone stunned, myself included. Santiago was especially shaken, his lips trembling and his eyes red. In disbelief, he asked with a quiver in his voice, "Rita, you..." "Shut up. Don't call me Rita. I'm your boss." Margarita showed no mercy, cutting off Santiago immediately. I watched this scene, surprised, but somehow not entirely shocked. Margarita had always been a selfish person. She was highly concerned with her own interests. For instance, when I graduated, I had a very bright future ahead of me, but she had used our breakup as leverage, forcing me to join her in starting a business. Just because she wanted to be an entrepreneur and a boss, I had to give up my own future to accommodate her desires. Now, under the pressure I was putting on her, she had no hesitation in abandoning Santiago. "Stephen, do you see my sincerity? I've always loved you. You can't fire me. This company is our joint effort. You can't just leave me." She looked at me with tear-filled eyes, her beautiful gaze shimmering with emotion. If this had happened in the past, I would have likely surrendered, thinking of her point of view. But now, I coldly said, "Both of you, get out. I'm not saying this again." It was working hours, and I couldn't waste time on personal matters. In the next moment, security immediately intervened, pulling Margarita and Santiago out of the office. Some colleagues quickly gathered their things and threw them out in front of the company doors to avoid getting on my bad side. With those two troublesome people gone from the company, I felt a little more at ease. "Everyone, back to your stations. Make sure to send me this quarter's tasks before lunch." After making the arrangements, I returned to my office. Originally, this had been Margarita's office, and her things had been cleared away by the staff. Although this company was something we built together, and many of the items here were purchased by me, I had never really had the chance to come in. That was because Margarita had said, "I'm the boss, and you're an employee. It's not appropriate." But when Santiago spent every day in the office, joking around with her, she never mentioned that reasoning. Never mind. It's all in the past now. I ordered new office supplies online. I wasn't going to use anything that Margarita had left behind. Around noon, a colleague quietly knocked on my door and came in with something to show me. "Boss, This is something that happened at the company entrance. Do you want to see it? He handed me a video that had been secretly filmed. I clicked it open and saw Margarita and Santiago being dragged out by security. Both of them looked furious, clearly agitated. Santiago grabbed her, questioning why she had treated him that way earlier. Margarita, however, suddenly dropped her selfish facade, gently stroking Santiago's face, and said softly, "I had no choice. We had to save one of us so the other could be rescued. But I didn't expect Steven, that ungrateful bastard, to show me no mercy." Santiago still looked hurt, but his voice softened. "Rita, is this really how you feel?" Margarita cupped his face, giving him a light kiss on the lips. Of course, she spoke to him in a coaxing tone. "Be a good boy and go back for now. I'll think of a way." Santiago suddenly pushed her against the wall, kissed her deeply for a long while, then gasped and nodded. The video cut off abruptly. The colleague, speaking in a hushed voice, said, "Boss, you really need to watch out for Margarita. She's already betrayed you." We were all too scared to speak up back then. Margarita was the boss, and we were afraid she'd come after us. Actually, those two have been involved for 3 years. I was at a loss for words, unsure of what to feel. Everything seemed absurd. What had I loved all these years? What had I really been involved with? I didn't let the colleague continue telling me more. I simply asked him to leave, and then I turned my focus back to my work. That evening, as I was about to open my door to head home, a shadow suddenly flashed behind me. Before I knew it, someone grabbed me from behind, and hot, erratic breaths brushed against my face. "Steven." Chapter 7. The woman's voice was soft and seductive. Her hands were all over me, pushing me step by step into the room. Just as she was about to get closer, I forcefully pushed her away and turned on the light. Margarita stood there, disheveled and dazed, staring at me with a hurt expression. "Steven, what are you doing?" A wave of disgust surged inside me. Yesterday, around the same time, she had sat on my sofa, waiting for me to return, threatening me to hand over client information. She had been so high and mighty then, but now, she was trying to seduce me with this kind of act. How many faces did this woman have that I had never seen before? "Get out." But Margarita didn't give up. "I won't leave." "Steven, can you really let me go? I love you. I've given you my youth. You can't be so heartless. You're just jealous of Santiago, right? I've already dumped him. So why are you still acting like this?" Had I not seen that video at noon, I might have believed her words. Of course, I had no intention of getting back together with her. I just felt that whatever she did, I wouldn't be surprised anymore. "Margarita, we've already broken up. Can you stop bothering me?" I held my temper and spoke to her, but Margarita started crying harder. "Don't you remember the vows you made to me? You promised you'd love me for life. You said it yourself. Steven, just forgive me this once. Just once." She then pulled a small box out of her pocket and opened it to reveal an exquisite watch. She looked at me eagerly. "This watch is customized. I didn't give it to Santiago. I'm giving it to you. I'm giving it to you because you're my only man." The watch reminded me of the scene at the airport when she had someone force me to open my luggage. A cold shiver ran through me. "I'll say it again. Get out." Margarita looked stunned, her face flushed with anger. She snatched the watch from my hand and spat out, "Steven, just wait." With that, she stormed out in fury. For the next few days, I didn't hear anything more about Margarita. After I took control of the company, everything started to run smoothly. With the support of the headquarters, many projects progressed exceptionally well. I also hired a few competent employees to help handle company affairs and fired the former colleagues who had been coasting along. That morning, after our regular meeting, Santiago suddenly called me. The moment I answered, he started shouting, "Steven, where did you hide Rita? What did you do to her? She's been unreachable. Her phone's off, and she's not replying to messages. You bastard." Chapter 8. I couldn't help but furrow my brow, my voice cold. "Are you a mad dog? Just barking nonsense? I don't know where Margarita is." He immediately denied it. "You're lying. Rita disappeared the night she went to find you. If you don't come clean, I'm calling the police." And with that, he hung up the phone. I couldn't be bothered to deal with him. Even if he called the police, it had nothing to do with me. However, Han, who was there to report on the work progress, overheard the commotion and couldn't help but speak up. "The last time I saw Margarita, she was with General Manager Kim. They seemed pretty close." I frowned. General Manager Kim was the person the headquarters had assigned to liaise with me domestically. Why would Margarita be involved with him? Before I could think too much, Han quickly clarified. Margarita approached General Manager Kim. "I'm not sure if she drugged him or if it was his doing, but the two of them have been together frequently." Han also sent me a video of Kim and Margarita eating together. He looked worried as he added, "I'm not sure if Margarita has any more plans for the company." Kim was in charge of the domestic subsidiary, and I was sent from the overseas headquarters, so this situation could be tricky. I nodded, acknowledging what he said. then forwarded the video to Santiago. If he was concerned about Margarita's safety, he should see that Margarita was already pursuing another man. I was curious about how he would react. That evening, trouble erupted. After a meeting with Han, we were heading to a nearby restaurant when we saw Margarita being dragged out of a private room by an elegantly dressed middle-aged woman. Her small Chanel coat had been torn, and she was badly bruised. The crowd around her snapping pictures, but General Manager Kim was nowhere to be seen. "You damn fox. How dare you seduce my husband? You bitch. Who do you think you are? You're nothing but a cheap slut. After you've had your fun, what else do you want?" Margarita, beaten and bloodied, managed to get to her feet. When she saw Santiago in the crowd, she lunged toward him, furiously yelling, "Santiago, this is all your fault. You've already ruined me. And now I finally get close to General Manager Kim, and you stab me in the back." Santiago slapped her hard across the face, his expression contorted with rage. "How dare you blame me? You told me to beg Steven for help, but how did you end up in the bed of some old man? I called you so many times. I almost knelt down to find you, and you betrayed me. You bitch." Margarita's lip bled as she glared at Santiago, then lunged at his face, clawing at him, straddling him as they began fighting. "If it weren't for you, Steven wouldn't have broken up with me. You're just a kept boy. Who are you to tell me who I sleep with? We were just a casual fling. Did you really think you were my man? Are you an idiot?" Margarita had trained with me in boxing for 2 years, and she fought dirty, landing heavy blows on Santiago. But Santiago, in pain and enraged by her insults, snapped. He started pounding his fists into Margarita's body. Chapter 9. I couldn't help but feel a sense of satisfaction. The dog-eat-dog drama was, as expected, quite entertaining. At that moment, the police arrived, separated the two, and took them away, dispersing the crowd. A week later, Margarita was released, while Santiago was still locked up. I wasn't concerned about their affairs, but a month later, at a business collaboration meeting, I ran into Margarita. She was arm in arm with an older man, acting as if she were the mistress of the house. It wasn't General Manager Kim, but Pablo, a business owner interested in cooperation. "Fancy meeting you here, Steven. I heard you're after my husband's project. If you kneel and beg me right now, I might consider it." I frowned as I looked at her. Margarita still looked beautiful, but her aura now exuded a kind of sly allure. She gazed at me arrogantly, as if she still saw me as just a dog, submissive to her every whim. I ignored her completely. From what I heard from friends, Margarita had seduced Pablo within just a week, but I found this odd. Pablo was well known in the industry for being driven solely by profit. Given his age, experience, and social status, he had seen every kind of woman. Why would he be interested in Margarita? I had someone investigate. Sure enough, something suspicious came up. After Margarita got close to Pablo, his company rapidly secured several key projects. These projects were ones that had previously been of interest to General Manager Kim. Upon further investigation, I learned that Margarita had stolen commercial secrets from Kim. She had used this information to strike a deal with Pablo. Of course, I wasn't about to let this slide. After gathering the evidence, I submitted it to the court, filing charges against Margarita for stealing commercial secrets. When Margarita found out, she stormed into my company, demanding answers. She cursed at me furiously. "Steven, get out here, you despicable bastard. What did I ever do to you for you to ruin my life like this?" I must have been blind to have been with such a disgusting man. When I went out to confront her, she tried to push and shove me. The security guards immediately stopped her. I coldly stared at her and said, "Margarita, everything that's happening is the result of your own actions. If you really had a clear conscience, why would you be causing all this trouble?" At that moment, all I felt for Margarita was disgust and revulsion. A woman so selfish and willing to do anything to achieve her goals. I had wasted 10 years of my life on her. "Throw her out," I coldly ordered, then turned and went back to work. A week later, the court delivered its judgment. Margarita was sentenced to 5 years. General Manager Kim was also suspended from his position due to his involvement with Margarita, and I temporarily took over all his responsibilities. When Margarita was released from court, I was just about to get into my car when I saw a limping figure approaching me. As the figure came closer, I saw that it was Santiago. His once handsome face had become rough, covered in stubble, and worn with age. There was a deep scar across his face. I couldn't help but furrow my brow. I wondered if the scar was from that street fight he had with Margarita. But his limp. Chapter 10. "Santiago," I called out. He looked up at me, his eyes filled with regret. "Steven, I came here to apologize. Years ago, I took your projects and made you the scapegoat, stealing your position. I'm sorry. After spending time in jail, I've had a lot of time to reflect. Margarita brought all of this upon herself, and I, too, am just as guilty. I wish you all the best." I looked at him, confused. I couldn't understand why he was suddenly confessing to me. Tears suddenly welled up in Santiago's eyes. His voice trembled slightly. I loved her so much. I thought if I took her from you, I could have everything. I was just a fool, wasn't I? With a bitter laugh, he shook his head and turned to leave. Since then, I never saw Santiago again. Margarita, however, sent someone to pass on a message asking if I could visit her, claiming she was lonely. I paid no attention to it. I had long since severed ties with her, and her life was no longer my concern. 5 years later, my company's value had grown exponentially, and the headquarters officially appointed me as the head of the domestic branch. My career was shining bright. Later, I heard from mutual friends that Margarita had been released from prison. Her mental state had deteriorated, and she was taken back to her hometown by her family, where she married and had children. As for me, my future continued to unfold, and I intended to live the rest of my life for myself.